I'm going to tell you about how to slay your job interview today. And this is the advice that I give to all my candidates before they go in for an interview, whether that is, remote, face-to-face, whatever, technical, non-technical. This will just be an overall guide on how to slay your interview and give you a little bit more confidence before going in.
What would be your first initial go-to tip?
Number one, most important point is be prepared. Going for a consultant, obviously you've got the benefit that we know a little bit more of the insider info, so we can give you more tips and tricks on what sort of questions they might ask you. But obviously, we're only human. We can only predict so much of what they will ask. Make sure you do your research on the company, their competitors, what they do in the market. Really go, like on their website. You've got Glassdoor now, you've got LinkedIn. Do some research, see who works there, see how long they've been there, and come up with some questions that you want to know more about. If you have a question that hasn't been answered on their website, write that down and make sure you ask them. So other than being prepared for your interview and knowing what questions they might ask, you also need to know where it is. You need to know what time it is, whether it's, like I said before, face-to-face, remote, is it Teams. Make sure your camera is working, do a test, make sure your mic is working, make sure they can see you clearly, clear out all the mess from behind you.
What about Jessica and Alex? What do you think that candidate should wear?
So even if it's remote, I still think you need to present yourself smart. I feel like maybe what I'm wearing right now is probably a little bit too casual. I've got a t-shirt on, but I do have a blazer. So if you're a guy, I'd say, wear a shirt or maybe like a nice little smart jumper. And if you're a lady, maybe put a blazer on, a nice little smart top. But I wouldn't advise any of my candidates to, wear like a suit and tie. Like, everyone knows you're at home, you're comfortable. Just present yourself well.
When the dreaded question, tell us about yourself, comes up, what would you suggest?
I would say, first of all, don't see it as like that dreaded question. A lot of my candidates are like, oh, I don't like to talk about myself, I don't like to talk about my achievements, but at the end of the day, it's an interview. You've got to sell yourself. You need to tell them a little bit more about yourself, They are investing in you. They're there to make sure that as much as they are a right fit for you, you need to be a right fit for them, that being technically, with your skill set, your experience, your degree, as well as obviously like the soft skills, your personality. Are you confident? Do you need to speak to clients? Do you need to speak to stakeholders? All those things are really, really important. So I always advise at least 2 or 3 points that you can put through your CV. So that being, got a first class degree in uni, or in my last role, I led a project and we achieved X, Y, and Z. Something to something that makes you stand out, something that might not be on your CV. Just go into that a little bit more detail and let them know a bit more about yourself.
Other than research and just being generally prepared, what else would you say would be really vital to slay that interview?
At the end, you'll always be asked, do you have any questions? You always want to have a question. Even if you don't have a question, you always want to ask a question. It makes you look engaged, interested, and there's always something that you want to know. There's something that's always not been answered, whether that's training opportunities or what computers they use or anything like that. Just ask them that question, see what their answers are, and make sure that little bit more engaged and interested.
So thank you for joining us today, Alex. That was how to slay an interview. You're welcome.
It is. We hope all these little tips and tricks will help you to slay your next job interview. If you're looking for a role and you're a candidate, get in touch.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. Amazing, Alex.